Danny was buried alive by a mudslide. He rolled down the car window and reached out to test how thick the mud was. To his horror, a rush of wet soil poured into the car. Panicked, he quickly rolled the window back up. Before he could catch his breath, the sunroof suddenly cracked. Fumbling, he pulled out a roll of tape and tried sealing the glass, but the flimsy tape couldn't withstand the crushing weight of the mud. Then Danny spotted a steering wheel lock under the seat. Thinking fast, he yanked it out and propped it diagonally against the sunroof. To his surprise, the abandoned lock actually held back the collapsing soil. He swallowed nervously, eyes locked on the roof, terrified the glass would give way at any second. When he saw the lock holding firm, he finally exhaled in relief. He grabbed a bottle of water and gulped it down. Only when the bottle was nearly empty did he realize he was wasting his precious lifeline. Regret and panic hit him. He had no idea how long he would be trapped, and without water, his chances of survival would plummet. Out of desperation, he drained the rest of the bottle anyway. He searched the car for useful items, but none of the tools seemed to help. Then drops of water began seeping through the sunroof and dripping inside. Danny rushed over and pressed his mouth to the leak, drinking greedily, but it was too slow. So he pulled out his wallet, bent a bank card into a funnel, and stuck it into an empty bottle, wedging it against the steering lock. Soon, the bottle filled up. His water problem was solved. Thrilled, Danny clapped his hands. He even urinated into a storage box to save for later, but it wasn't long before he began to suffocate. The oxygen inside the car was running out. He grabbed a folding chair, broke off its hollow steel tube, and punched a hole in a bottle cap. He tied a string through the cap, jammed it into the tube, and sealed it tightly. Wearing gloves, he straightened a piece of wire and drilled a tiny hole through the sunroof. He shoved the steel tube into it and pushed upward, but the soil was far denser than he expected. The entire tube sank in without ever reaching the surface. Panic set in. He connected a second steel tube the same way and pushed it up, but even two tubes weren't long enough. Gasping for air, Danny tried one last time, attaching a third and final tube. Using all his strength, he shoved upward, but this time the pipe hit something solid. No matter how hard he pushed, it wouldn't go any farther.